10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Right then, how are we all doing? I mean, I know the answer to that question, but good morning to you. Not really a good morning. Morning. Monday the 15th of August. A couple of days since that game against Brentford. I always joke. I don't joke about it. Last week I called it the therapy room. About 7 or 8 times last season I called it the therapy room on Monday morning. And today it's, hey, Jesus, it's the biggest therapy room of all. Oh, wow. What a start to the season it's been for Manchester United. I don't mean that in any sort of compliment. I actually didn't mean that. In black, we are, well, I suppose we are mourning when we're not mourning. I just fancy putting a polo shirt on. Sorry about that. But look, I know how you're all doing this morning, and I'm in the exact same boat as you. I'm going to run through the match, the reaction to the match. I'm going to run through the fallout and the extra training session that Manchester United players were put through after Erik Ten Hag dragged everyone in and cancelled a day off. I'm going to speak about the 3 signings that Ten Hag is demanding. I'm going to speak about the growing problem that is Cristiano Ronaldo. And I love Cristiano Ronaldo. He is the best player I've ever seen play for the club. But I'm speaking about that problem. We're going to be speaking about James Garner and the fact that Manchester United might be selling him. I'm going to be speaking about Jamie Vardy as well. I know, weird. Honestly, there is so much to... I've tried to read everything and get my head around all the stories, but you can let me know what you think in the comments below. I mean, I think I know what the answers are. I sat there and I watched that game against Brentford, and I could not, in my weirdest nightmares, have imagined it was going to be that bad against Brentford. The first 2 goals, just spectacular errors from... I'll pull this up here, of course. Put it on screen so we can talk about it. Both goals, 1 and 2, at fault. You know it was Dave. First one, well, it was just letting it through his fingers. And the second one, there is absolutely no way in hell we should have passed that to Christian Eriksen. Man United trying to adapt to a different style of football without having the capability of doing that. And obviously the third goal, well, it was a set piece. Lisandro Martinez got beaten. Yes, he did. Am I going to try and drag him under like the media is going to? No, you should not be doing that either. I've seen quite a lot of comments here before the stream went live, and that's exactly why I set this to slow mode on YouTube. I'm not letting it descend into arguments, and there's some infighting. There's quite a lot of fingers already pointing towards Erik Ten Hag. Are you fucking mad? Are you off your rocker? And I'm not being polite about this. Absolutely in no way, shape, or form. Because if you really genuinely think I'm going to start targeting Erik Ten Hag after 2 games with these goddamn players, you are, yeah, you lose. You're mad. That's the only way I can describe that. All right. And I will discuss that in a bit more detail as we go on. Now, the reaction from Erik Ten Hag to that performance, I covered it in a video last night. He cancelled the day off. Obviously, Manchester United didn't get back from London until I think about 11 p.m. on Saturday night. And everybody was in there training at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Oh, what you done? Honestly, I think Luca Mora was the comment down there. He goes, "Oh, it's ridiculous. It's so dangerous for our manager to be getting those players in training on Sunday after." No, fuck that, man. Every single one of them, I hope they collapsed at the... Well, no, that's a bad thing to say. I hope they were completely and utterly exhausted at the end of that training session. Ten Hag is coming into the most dysfunctional dressing room, a dysfunctional squad that didn't look dysfunctional in the pre-season tour, which is the thing that's caused me the most confusion about all of this. On the pre-season tour, everybody seemed to be on the same wavelength. They may not have liked the extra training sessions. They may not have liked the tough training sessions, but everybody seemed to be getting on with it. And the performances in the preseason showed that. And what changed? What changed between the preseason and the Premier League? It's the pressures of it. The pressures of it, right? And I can go down, I'm going up here and say, look, oh, great, yeah, look, they all ran really hard. No, exactly. It's nothing to fucking shout about. But we are a club right now. We are a football team right now where these sorts of things are happening. Like we're an under-11s team who hasn't been listening to their manager. And we have to get treated like kids. That's the way. Apparently, that's where Erik Ten Hag agreed with in his reaction to the game. Was, yeah, we did play like kids. They did play like kids. And I'll tell you the big thing that when Ralph Rangnick came in, he brought in Sasha Lindsay. Sasha Lindsay was a sports psychologist. I mean, it didn't exactly help the the psychology of the squad, did it? But there was a line here in The Athletic, which I personally think is a fundamental, crucial aspect of the issues that has happened at Manchester United at the moment. Said this. He said, there is also a feeling United are psychologically scarred by their collective experiences as a team. Rangnick's decision to appoint Sasha Lindsay was immediate when he took interim charge for the rest of the season after Solskjaer was sacked, but United's ordeal only intensified. For Ten Hag, the challenge is evident. One source close to the new manager said he is attempting to build an aeroplane as he flies, which I thought was a very, very good analogy. But the big thing that has changed between the pre-season and now at Manchester United, sorry, I've got to block someone on Facebook here who's spamming the comments. The big thing that has changed is the pressure. These players right now, I think I saw it in the first game against Brighton. And you can see it in every single pass that happens. A player who has a fear of making a mistake, he's not going to knock it to his to the fullback. He's not going to knock it to the central midfielder with any sort of conviction. It's going to be tentative. And I would say that really explains, or not explains, but that is what Manchester United are. Everybody is tentative. There's no real conviction because everybody's shit scared of making mistakes. Everybody is terrified of making a mistake in front of their new manager. And because of that, everybody's sort of going inwards. Everyone's trying to do what the manager wants to do. And I think they're listening. I just do not think they have the capability to do what he wants them to do. I do not think that they are psychologically in the right place. And the idea that Manchester United players are psychologically scarred, I really, really think that is the case. I really, really do. And that's going to be something that can only be shifted over the course of time. And the only thing that can shift that is United playing properly, United winning games, United playing well. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a vicious circle. Honestly, that game at the weekend, it was brutal. Everybody's laughing at us. We're bottom of the Premier League. I think we've got shorter odds to get relegated than West Ham right now. And things are only getting worse. And of course, we've got 16 days left in this transfer window. And Erik Ten Hag should have already been given more. We know the Frenkie de Jong situation. We're going in for Rabiot. What about a forward? More is needed. So I'm going to speak about that now. But I had to say that at the very beginning. And I will continue to say this across the course of the season. I swear to God, anybody who is coming in the comments here and trying to pick holes in Erik Ten Hag's tactical choices, in saying, okay, there you go, Pochettino would have been a better choice. Why don't we go and get Conte? It's like, get fucked. And I'm not being polite about it. Seriously, just leave the channel, people, because you're not helping in any way, shape, or form. Talking about bullshit like that. He is our manager. He is going to be our manager, hopefully, for a good few years. And he is at the beginning of something new. And we've seen all of this last season under two different managers. And you really want to try and pick faults with a manager? Come on. Stop being... I don't know how to describe it. It's infuriating. And it's what I'm seeing in the media. They're going to try and start picking holes in Erik Ten Hag. Oh, Lisandro Martinez. Do you regret signing him? Oh, this not. Christ almighty, man. Like, seriously. If at this point you're not just firmly putting the magnifying glass on the players, on the owners, and you're still trying to look at the manager and still trying to say, no, I think we could have done better, then fair play, but you're more than welcome to leave the channel and not come back, because I'm not going to indulge in any conversation like that. There was a super chat that was sent in there quite a while ago. I don't want to miss it. I would just say, man, never the gaffer to blame. Even if you put Ancelotti, you can't do anything with players like that who don't have the desires and aggressions. Again, going back to sort of Erik Ten Hag's disciplinarian approach, the fact there that he made everybody run 13.8 kilometers, and everywhere said it, like Jason Burt, the Athletic has said it, Sky Sports have said it as well, Samuel Luckhurst. He made them run 13.8 kilometers because that's what Brentford collectively as a team ran more than Manchester United. And yeah, it is simple. Yes, it is childish. But these basics should be just in the mind of the players, to the point where the manager doesn't really have to tell them to go and run hard, because they just do it naturally. But they don't. They are kids. They do what they want and they won't listen. And we just get outworked by mid-table teams and made to look like relegation candidates because of it. Liverpool and City would not be where they are if they didn't have the hard work ethic as the basis and the foundation of it all. Mind blown. Look, there you go. Let's put one of these comments up here. All right, okay, McCasey, let me indulge you. Sam, you can't ignore any possibility, including the possibility that the manager is at fault. It's ignorant to dismiss any possibility, especially in view of what Solskjaer achieved with near enough the same players. Honestly, people, if you really want to have it, you can call me ignorant if you want, but you can get off the channel. I am not indulging in anybody trying to dig this manager out now. I have covered this team. We've watched this team for years and years and years. And you really think I'm going to start digging out Erik Ten Hag at this point? Nick, you sent a super chat, sir. I'll read it out. You're saying, look, either Ten Hag changes his tactics to counter football or start some youth. These players can't take on tactical instructions. Big dilemma. Park the bus for some points or plow on no matter what. See, that's a fair comment. And the reason I'm saying that's a fair comment is because Ten Hag is clearly realizing at this point that these players aren't capable of absorbing what he is telling them. The difference between Ralf Rangnick and Erik Ten Hag is the fact that Erik Ten Hag is our manager. He's here for a few years. He's not our substitute teacher, if you want to call it that. He's not going anywhere. And it's only going to get harder and harder and harder. So they either get on board or get out of the team. Jonathan, this is completely. I absolutely agree here. And I agree with what Nick said there. It's after these first two games, Ten Hag knows what he's got in front of him now. The players have shown their true colours. He might have come out of that preseason a bit like I felt. He goes, okay, all right, everyone seems to be taking it on board. But it was because it was away. It was in Thailand. It was in Australia. It was often a jolly. It was a preseason tour. Without the pressures of that environment, of playing in Old Trafford, of being in front of the Premier League cameras, Manchester United looked good. It looked decent. And that, for me, is the fundamental difference. Of course, the quality of the opposition has massively intensified in the Premier League compared to the pre-season tour, but also the spotlight. Man United players are wilting like spinach in the sun. That's the only way I could describe it. We are so mentally fragile that it's not becoming, it is our Achilles heel that we just can't get rid of. Jordan, after Saturday's performance, I'd be surprised if anyone wants to come. My opinion is that the players are at fault, not Ten Hag. Look, Jordan, I'm not going to sit here and say, in my mind, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's made every single tactical decision correctly, because he has not. He has made some mistakes. But if you think at this point, anybody, that I'm going to bring that problem to the surface, you're foolish. There's so many. That is not the root cause of Man United's issues, and it's something I always focus on. I don't try to look at the surface issues. I try to look a little bit deeper. And if you're just going to try and dig Erik Ten Hag out at this point, then you're not looking in the right places, in my opinion. JRB, this whole Ollie agenda really gets my goat. We finished second in the season where Liverpool got 69 points in the following year. Look, Solskjaer definitely he achieved more than I thought that more than anybody thought that he could achieve. But yeah, Liverpool was not the Liverpool team it is now. But I don't want to talk about the past. I don't even want to talk about the bloody game against Brentford. But the reaction to Brentford from Erik Ten Hag has been to double down on what he believes in. And I've said this is a big reason why I'm happy that Erik Ten Hag is my manager, and I will continue to support him. He's put his own reputation on the line. I've told you, I've said this before, I said Ten Hag's not going to be remembered first and foremost for what he achieved at Ajax. It's what he did at Manchester United. And right now, it looks like he's sinking. And it's because the players are standing on his head. He's got a really, really tough job here. And he needs more. He absolutely needs more. I'm going to try and keep reading as many of your comments out. Obviously, I always read the super chats because you send them in. It would be rude if I didn't. Chris, you're saying after 2 games, I firmly believe Ten Hag now knows what the Premier League's all about. Trust him to turn things around, but if he can't do it, if he's not backed by the owners, and I will speak about the owners later on, I will speak about Michael Knighton as well. I think if we're looking at issues, Jordan, I can see you there saying you're against the players, not Ten Hag. I appreciate it. I understand that now, my friend. Ten Hag, I think, has probably been surprised by the Premier League. No matter how many people tell you, oh, the Premier League's more and more intense, he's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. I back myself. I think he's probably been surprised how good everyone is outside of the top 6. I think he would have expected it against Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Spurs. But I don't think he would have expected Brighton and Brentford to be as good as they were. So, yeah, I think he's struggled with those early issues. I think if we're looking at what needs to change, like there are players like Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford, going back to what I was saying there about Manchester United as a collective being psychologically scarred, it's obvious. It really is obvious. I think Garnacho should be coming in for that. And it's not just a case of, and I keep saying that I don't want the kids thrown into a situation that's a toxic environment that's going to swallow them up. But we're in a position that obviously there's going to be parallels to Mikel Arteta's start to last season with Arsenal. They lost the first 3 games, bottom of the Premier League, and you saw what happened after that point. Weirdly enough, it was when I personally think when Mikel Arteta, that it was the Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang booting him out of the club was the beginning of the turnaround. We'll have a conversation about Ronaldo later on. But look, going back to down here, this is from Jason Burt from The Telegraph saying, furious Erik Ten Hag has demanded that 3 more Manchester United signings are made before the transfer window closes. Let's read this article. Let's go down here and read it together. Erik Ten Hag is demanding at least 3 more signings from Man United before the transfer window closes. Ten Hag was left furious. Now, we've already spoken about all of that down there. Let's go down and see what he's saying about the signings. Having wanted to give the existing players the chance to prove themselves this season, Ten Hag appears to have accepted he needs to accelerate changes with United, also beginning to grow tired of the saga around Cristiano Ronaldo. And as I said, give it about 10 minutes or so, we'll be having a conversation about Cristiano Ronaldo and the stories that are continuing to develop around him. But I will speak about this first and about potential signings, because realistically, I have no idea where we'd finish in the Premier League if we don't make any more signings. If we make no signings, and this is the squad we've got, you're genuinely looking mid-table. You really are looking mid-table. I'm not saying new signings are going to come in and all of a sudden we're a top 4. We're chasing top 6 this season. The thing I always said was what I would consider a success for Manchester United this season is by the end of it, if I can look at this Manchester United team and I can say, you know what? That's it. That's a Ten Hag United team. Week in, week out. We can see the foundations. We can see the patterns. And we can see week in, week out, we're not dropping from a 7 out of 10 to a 1 out of 10, back up to a 9 out of 10. We're a consistent team. That's what I want by the end of the season. And these first 2 games have shown me that's just going to take... It's going to take a lot. I mean, you're talking about not accepting lower standards. I mean, look at us. Look at us. Look at our standards on the floor. Thoughts on Ghana being sold to commentate Rabiot's fee? I'll be speaking about that later in the show. But yeah, I'm very, very confused by what that is. I'll be honest. Go down here. Ten Hag wants 2 midfielders signed before the end of August, with hopes that Adrien Rabiot will be secured from Juventus for a fee of up to 20 million in time for the Liverpool game. His mother, Veronique, met with United football director John Murtough on Friday in Turin to discuss the deal. We've already got those terms agreed. Talking like Adrien Rabiot. Adrien Rabiot cannot. Well, I think I'm being a little bit overly harsh on Rabiot because I'm judging him on what's happened before, what's happened with him at different clubs, and how I feel that's the wrong sort of character and attitude to bring into the dressing room. So I've definitely got a bit of a. I've already formed an opinion on Rabiot before he's signed for us, before he's kicked a ball. So that's not good on my part. But I just don't really see how Adrien Rabiot was the top of any list that Erik Ten Hag made to improve our midfield. Would he improve our midfield? Yes, he would improve our midfield. Would I be happy with the signing? I'll be happy with a signing. But let's see what goes on with the Rabiot situation. I think Rabiot's the deal that's going to get done this week. The personal terms shouldn't be too difficult to discuss, but well, his mother Veronique is a bit of an issue. But let's see what goes on with that. Akeem, you're saying, look, no, Sam, Rabiot and his stats don't justify his character. Talent is, wow, Jesus. Talent without character is nothing. You could apply that, boy. You could apply that to so many signings at Manchester United over the years. And look, if you want to go down here, and I pulled this up about the idea that Manchester United's players and the squad, there's a feeling that they are psychologically scarred, then I'm probably psychologically scarred as a Manchester United fan. And that's why I look at this signing from Adrien Rabiot and I look at it going, now, really? Really? And I've got preconceptions based on what's happened to Manchester United over the last few years. It's the exact same situation. The United fans are psychologically scarred in not the same way that the players are, but yeah, we're just, wow, man, the club, it kind of, it's left me speechless. It really has. Kellum saying, not staying up for another game until we make signings. Big up from the Gold Coast. Well, don't blame me. Get back to bed. Jeez, be better than watching United. There was somebody joined as a member there. Don't want to miss you and give you a shout out. Mojo, let me know where you're watching from and can you donate your Mojo to Manchester United? I can tell you what, we've lost ours. But Rabiot, we know who the main signing, who Erik Ten Hag wants to be the main signing, and that is, of course, Frankie de Jong. Right. If you're looking at the game, Barcelona played at the weekend 0-0. Rafinha was in the squad. Lewandowski was in the squad. I think the only new signing that they weren't able to register was Jules Koundé, so they still need to raise money. They're going to go and pull another one of these weird levers. I don't know whether they're going to pull these weird levers. I'm honestly, I feel like I have to now protect myself and just sit back and I can't be arsed with the De Jong situation anymore. I can't. I don't want to give any more energy to it. I hope something develops this week that gives some sort of clarity to the situation. But De Jong, he started on the bench. De Jong came on, I think it was in the 60th minute for Gavi. But look, Sergio Busquets got sent off for Barcelona. So maybe he's going to start the next game. Go down here. That Clark is saying, Sam, at this stage, do you honestly think Frankie de Jong chooses Chelsea? I still don't personally think so. And again, this might be down to, if we're talking about weaknesses, maybe this is Erik Ten Hag's stubbornness hasn't been based on the fact that Frankie de Jong has told him anything. He's just steadfast in his own mindset. I like to think that's not the case, and I'm definitely going to give my manager the benefit of the doubt rather than doubting him without any sort of justification. But this de Jong situation, wow, this has hurt our club, really hurt our summer. Nobody could have predicted in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't matter whether you think what you think about the de Jong situation. If you're the biggest skeptic in the world, nobody could have accurately predicted what Barcelona have done this summer. What Barcelona have done this summer will be remembered and talked about for years and years and years to come. And I imagine it's probably going to force some changes in the transfer market in what clubs are and aren't allowed to do, because Barcelona have acted shady as hell. Screen stars. Players are a disgrace. Rabiot will bring more grit, much needed in our snowflake dressing room. Love your content, Sam. Most balanced. Thank you very much, dude. Look, Rabiot's going to come with baggage, man. And that's the main reason why I was so, and I remain skeptical about him joining the club. And I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. And I hope that Erik Ten Hag has the ability to coach it out of him and just to get the talent, which is obviously there, but it's baggage. This is a dressing room that's got a lot of baggage. Still got baggage. One massive Ronaldo bit of baggage. I don't want any more. I've just said baggage quite a lot. Ever since I started watching United People's TV from Singapore, Sam's opinions and remarks have been nothing but logic, pure and realistic. Man, thank you very much, buddy. But look, my opinion is absolutely no bigger and no more important than your opinion. It's just that I've got a camera in front of my face. I try to be as balanced as I can about the club, and I really, really do. You'll see full well that I've thought that the Rangnick situation, I thought it was the best decision that the club's made in a while. Lo and behold, it didn't really work out, and I thought the club made a big error in not appointing him to the board or in a position of power sooner. Because if Rangnick already had that position solidified and he was already working at the club, by the time that the Ten Hag appointment happened, their positions would have been clarified. But effectively, when Ten Hag came to the club and he was presented with Rangnick, he was like, well, what's his job? Where is he? He's like, I'm going to have to add him to my coaching staff. No, that's all right. I'd rather deal with it myself. It's hard watching United at the moment. It's not hard being a United fan, man. We've been spoiled. We feasted on a diet of titles after titles after titles for, well, near enough 20 years. But the fall from grace has been absolutely spectacular, and all at the hands of the Glazers. And you're definitely right. I'm speaking about that. As I say, I've still got to speak. We've got to speak about Ronaldo. I'm going to be speaking about James Garner. I'm going to be speaking about the Glazers. There's so much going on at the moment. If you would please drop a like on the video. Jeez, this therapy room, it's getting to me. I'm sure it's getting to you. Mojo, how you saying? How you doing, sir? You're saying Byron, Frankie de Jong, all other signings now will be desperate signings, leaving us with another mishmash of unsuitable players at crazy wages. If you want to talk about mishmash, this makes me want to bang my head against a brick wall. The Athletic here is saying that Manchester United are considering a move. Yeah, you read that right. For Jamie Vardy. I mean, how old is he now? I think he's like 36. Jamie Vardy. We've been linked with Jamie Vardy. I think it was Mauro Icardi yesterday. I can't remember all the other strikers we've been linked with. Just a ton of over the hill. Marko Arnautovic, of course, can't forget that one. A ton of over the hill. Just, I don't know what Manchester United are doing, man. I really, really don't. Quite a few of you are in the comments telling me to look down here. I just want to see if anybody's. Yeah, it is. Stu, thank you very much, buddy. Stu Backer down there. Everyone say thanks to him. He's just gifted 5 memberships. 5 more members to the Red Therapy Room. I tell you what, we are growing in number and we are growing in size, this therapy room. I'll tell you that. But Jamie Vardy, people. Jamie Vardy. We are at panic stations, and this is what happens. What we're going through now is the fundamental reason why all of us, every single football fan in the world, wants their club to complete their signings before the season starts. Because as soon as the season starts and it doesn't go right for you, everyone knows that now. Everyone's adding a couple of zeros on, everyone's adding a couple of millions on, and our position of negotiation is taken away from us. We lose power in those conversations because we're now bottom of the Premier League. Everyone knows Man United are desperate. And it changes the conversation and it just makes it more difficult for the club. But look, I have to go on now and I have to speak about this Ronaldo situation. I might do a video on it later today, individually. In fact, I think I've probably got to. It's too big a conversation not to have. You'll know full well what my feelings have been like about Ronaldo. When he didn't turn up for pre-season training, he was given leave by the club for family and personal reasons. I said nothing. I said absolutely nothing. I said the club, he deserves that. He deserves that and to not be questioned about it. Then when we're going through the pre-season tour, we're playing well without him. I think United are coping without Ronaldo. It seems to be okay. All right, okay, good. Move on. Boom. Ronaldo puts in a transfer request. And I'm like, well, that's fucking weird timing. I don't like that timing. I think it's a bit odd. It didn't sit right with me at all. And everything that has unfolded since then, I have not liked in any way, shape, or form. From Ronaldo coming back to the club, having those conversations, still trying to force his way out of the club, to Ronaldo leaving Rayo Vallecano before full time. It was my gut instinct that Erik Ten Hag wouldn't have allowed that, considering how much of a disciplinarian he's trying to be. And lo and behold, he said that it wasn't permitted. And it wasn't just Ronaldo. Loads of other players were involved in that as well. But Ronaldo was the only player, I think, who was in the matchday squad. The rest had already played the day before against Atletico Madrid. But Ronaldo is the greatest goal scorer of all time. And Ronaldo does not want to be here at the club anymore, right? That's a given. And what we're hearing now and what we're seeing on the pitch, Ronaldo is a problem, right? Quite a few of you down here talking about lead to QPR being confirmed. We already knew that last week. I'll speak about that later on. Ronaldo down here. This is from The Athletic, okay? He goes, yet since returning from Manchester United's tour, which saw good performances and a strong unity develop among the travelling group, Ronaldo's reintegration into the squad has proven challenging. The Athletic has been told of days where he eats lunch alone in the canteen at Carrington, while he has been seen flapping his arms about in training and attempting to argue against the high-pressing approach favoured by the new manager. Both the club and Ronaldo's representatives were approached for comment. Several sources close to United, who wished not to be named to protect their business relationships, argued that Ronaldo has been afforded greater leeway than his peers and indulged beyond the contribution he is currently providing to the club. While United is still yet to receive any formal interest for Ronaldo, it is now thought that Ten Hag would be open to allowing him to leave, but only if United recruit in the forward position where they are currently painfully short of options. I want to know what you think about this in the comments, right? Because I spoke about this before, and there's quite a lot of United fans. Well, I say United, they're not United fans. There's quite a lot of fans who follow Manchester United because Cristiano Ronaldo plays for the club. And they will not hear a word against him. A single word against him. My opinion on Ronaldo is very clear. Leave. Get out of the club, man. I don't care whether you're Cristiano Ronaldo, Scott McTominay, any player, Marcus Rashford, Luke Shaw, throw them all at Harry Maguire, all aboard. If you are a disruptive individual and you do not want to be at Manchester United, then I don't want him to be at Manchester United. It is as simple as that. And there's two reasons why I think he hasn't left. First of all, nobody bloody wants him. What a fall from grace this is. It is such a fall from grace for, as I say, the most exciting player I've ever had the privilege of watching in a Manchester United shirt. And you can see it in how he's playing. The body language is not hard to see. And again, there's tons of people in the comments who are still how the fuck are you defending Ronaldo? Seriously, how are you defending Ronaldo? The guy handed in a transfer request 6 weeks after the season ended because he wasn't going to play Champions League football, despite knowing in May. Ronaldo does not want to learn something new. Ronaldo doesn't have to learn something new. He is the greatest goal scorer, I think, of all time. But he's a disruption in the dressing room. And as was accurately written there in that Athletic article, going up here, that pre-season tour, we did see good performances and we did see a unity developing. Ronaldo wasn't part of that. And the fact that he is sitting there alone, eating lunch on his own, mate, I want Ronaldo out of the club. I am done. You can talk about how, oh, yeah, but no. I was bringing Ronaldo back to Manchester United was a big mistake. And at the time, so many of us argued that because he was never part of any plan that Solskjaer had. He was never part of any plan. The only reason he came back to Manchester United was because we didn't want him to go to City. I don't know. Jesus, down here, look. How? Yes, Amanda. Feel sorry for the man who's put in a transfer request. He's asked to leave Manchester United. He's asked. He doesn't want to be here. How can anybody defend that? I don't care who you are. If you are literally the best player I've ever seen play for my club, the most exciting footballer, if you want to leave, vamos. The door is there, my friend. How can anybody be defending him? He wants out of the club. It's honestly, it blows my mind that there are people defending. It blows my mind. As much as everyone's gone off Dean Henderson for his comments, he may suit the player. Well, yeah, Dean Henderson had a cracking game at the weekend, didn't he? Saved a penalty. There was a super chat there I don't want to miss. I'm just going to try and read a few of your comments down here. And what are you saying? I love Ronaldo. He'll always be the greatest, but time comes even for the greatest. He is no longer a fit for this team anymore. It was always going to be a merchandising stunt. And speaking of it being a merchandising stunt, there's other reports like suggesting these sorts of things. And it's not just the Athletic saying this, by the way. This is Paul Hurst from the Times as well, saying, look, Ronaldo's being described as a walking bad mood. Go down here. There's a suggestion that Joel Glazer is getting involved in this situation. And he doesn't want him to leave the club because from a commercial perspective, he's still very beneficial to Manchester United. The fact that not one club has come in for Cristiano Ronaldo is extremely, extremely telling. And you can try. You're more than free to leave your comments. Honestly, you can do what you want. But I want him out of my football club. I do not want Cristiano Ronaldo and that attitude going against. I've told you that if Erik Ten Hag is on a big fucking ship, a big rowing boat, and everybody's steering in the right direction, Ronaldo's an anchor. Ronaldo is pulling the ship off course. I don't care how good a footballer you are. If you do not want to be at that football club, you will be a disruption to what is going on at that football club. And for the life of me, I don't know how there is any true United fan down here in the comments that can try and defend this situation. It blows my mind. And in my opinion, you're not a Manchester United fan. You are a Cristiano Ronaldo supporter. Look, if Chelsea had come in, he'd already be playing for Chelsea right now in the Premier League. And he wouldn't bat an eyelid. The fact that he played for United wouldn't stop him going there. He wants what is best for himself. And it's that mentality which has driven him to be the best player in the world. But this is a sideshow and a circus that we don't need. And look, there's a comment there that it's a cliche, but Paul's got it spot on. There is no player that is bigger than Manchester United. David Beckham, Jaap Stam, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Roy Keane, all of them were starting to cause clashes with the manager and therefore impacting the dressing room. So what did Fergie do? He got rid of them. What did Manchester United do? We moved on as a football club. We didn't collapse and burn. No, we moved on. And we will move on from Ronaldo. And if you're being honest with yourself and you've got your hand on your heart, you know full well that bringing Ronaldo back to the club was never part of any long-term strategy. It was a move, a short-sighted move by the club, by the Glazers, and the final piece of the failed Galacticos era. And we need to move on, man. We need to move on. I'm gonna do a video on this at lunchtime. I'm just sick to the back teeth of it. I'm sick to the back teeth of it. We will not miss Ronaldo. Of course, you're going to miss his goals, but he's not part of a rebuild. He's not part of anything like anything new that we build between now and the next 6 years. It's not going to be because of Cristiano Ronaldo. There's a couple of super chats in here. I'm obviously going to read these out. Ian, what are you saying, sir? With all due respect, Ronaldo is right. He can see the toxic players and how the club is run by the Glazers. I'm sure you would want out. Clubs can't afford Ronaldo. Look, I know that he wants out, and I'm not saying that he's incorrect about how the club is run. But because of that, and because nobody wants him, reiterate this, great, nobody wants him. He's basically been begging. I'll play Sami. Chelsea, Bayern, PSG, Juve? Nobody. Well, shit, might stay United. And I don't know what's going to happen at that point. I really don't know what's going to happen, because is it a case that there was weird talk of Man United terminating his contract? That's just madness. If he wants out of the club, he should be paying for it. Ray, what are you saying here? I don't want to go back in the past, but Sir Alex would have moved Ronaldo on. Pep would have too. Everybody moves everybody on. But no, you're not allowed to say a bad word against Ronaldo, right? You're not allowed to say a bad word against Ronaldo. Tear up his contract, says Karma. Let him go for free. Option 2, Ronaldo buys out his contract and leaves. I love him, but he's a problem. That's exactly what it is. I love him, but he's a problem. I know look, Jordan, you're saying that it's because of his wages. I know exactly why we can't find a club for him, but it's leaving us between a fucking rock and a hard place. We've got a player, simply put, who doesn't want to be here, who therefore won't be bending his own character and personality to Erik Ten Hag's style of football, because he doesn't want to be here. And everybody is entitled to want to leave. I don't begrudge that. I've said that I think if Ronaldo had told us at the end of last season, if he had come out with a statement saying, look, I've loved being back at Manchester United, but I've only got a couple of years left in my career. I want Champions League next year. It's the competition where I've had my biggest successes as a footballer, and I want to compete at it for the last couple of years of my career. Thank you for bringing me back, but I'd like to move on. Every Manchester United fan would have given him a round of applause, and he would have walked out, and we would have talked about that season where we were terrible, but Ronaldo still came back and did the business. He was scoring the goals, and we would do that with a big smile on our face. Instead, it's fucking sour now. It's really starting to sour. And it's not helping Ten Hag. And therefore, I'm against it. Sigmund, I agree no player is bigger than the club in our eyes. Glazers have used contracts to prop up perceived value of the club. They don't see it the same. I will be speaking about the Glazers quite shortly. But look, I'm going to do a video on Ronaldo at lunchtime. And I'll tell you what. Oh, Jesus. Honestly, there's loads of you. There's so many of these. And I'll tell you what. Fair play to Ronaldo for creating individuals like that. Fair play to Ronaldo. It's a new breed of football fans that I will never understand. And yeah, honestly, we talked about Martial FC. Ronaldo FC is woof. Jeez, absolutely fair. As I say, fair play to that. That's how good Ronaldo has been over his career, that he can brainwash individuals to that situation. Any productive thoughts? Yeah. Get out of the club. What do you mean complaining is getting... Infighting is going to start coming over here. So, speaking about complaining, let's move on to complaining a bit more about James Garner. Nick, what are you saying down there, sir? You're saying, look, he has all the right reasons wanting to leave. He just handled the situation the wrong way. Yeah, no, of course. I don't begrudge that at all. Timing, the way it manifested itself, the way he's gone about it, utterly wrong. Utterly, utterly wrong. And that's what's hurt Manchester United. Not the fact that he wanted to leave. Simple as that. But I tell you what has really caught me off guard this morning. Really, definitely caught me off guard this morning is this. This is from The Athletic. Saying Manchester United are open to permanent offers for James Garner, with several Premier League clubs interested in a move. Erik Ten Hag has decided that Garner should be allowed to leave if a suitable bid comes in. Sources say United value Garner at around £14 million. And I'll be honest, this has blown my mind. We've heard all along, Richard Arnold, when he had that meeting with the fans, saying, look, the money is there. The money is there. Yet, here we are, talking, look, even if, okay, right, there's a comment down here, right? Jonathan, I said they might sell Garner. He's nothing special. You can have that opinion about whether or not you think Garner is going to be a good player for Manchester United in the long term. You can judge your own opinions there. That's completely fair. But right now, we've got Fred and McTominay throwing in absolute stinkers for Manchester United week in, week out. We've got Christian Eriksen, who's adopted into a new team, a new environment. We've got no midfield. And now we're talking about selling James Garner. For me, it stinks of the fact that Manchester United do not have the money this summer. Obviously, the proof is in the pudding. Like Nottingham Forest, I think we've spent less than half of what Nottingham Forest have so far. The only reason that we would sell James Garner this summer is if Erik Ten Hag knows that he needs that money to be able to sign other players. And it would completely explain everything that's happened in terms of our lack of activity so far by comparison of all the other teams around us. This Garner situation's really, really weird. Really, really odd. I don't like it whatsoever. As I said to Jonathan there, even if you think James Garner's not good enough for Manchester United in the long term and that he would eventually be sold, you don't go getting rid of him this summer. Not when we've got no midfield. That's mind-boggling. And the only logical justification for that, not that I agree with it or not, but putting 2 and 2 together, it surely means that the only reason he's doing that, Erik Ten Hag, is because he needs more money to sign players. I'm going to go down and read a few of your comments on this because this is very, very... It's so weird, man. Ray, you're saying that this is sports fans now. They're not club fans, but player fans. As I say, it's weird. I can't get my head around it. I really can't get my head around that. Let me go down here and see what else you're saying. There's another super chat there from Nick. What are you saying, sir? Only selling Garner because there's no market and we need money. Van der Beek, last choice midfielder on 120k a week. Stays because no one wants him. Well, I think Van der Beek will be an all right player for Manchester United this year. Roger, this is one of the weirdest conspiracy theories I've ever seen. I'll be completely honest. Imagine thinking that was built into the contracts of players. Lots of you talking about Ethan Laird going to QPR on loan. Look, good luck to Ethan Laird, man. Looking at Manchester United and what we need, I mean, Diogo Dalot's put in absolute stinkers for the first couple of games. Luke Shaw's put in absolute stinkers for the first couple of games. We need Malacia for that game against Liverpool. Would he play against Liverpool? I don't know. We're not going to play Wan-Bissaka at right back. But then at the same time, Ethan Laird, he needs game time. But I don't like this Garner situation at all. For me, it's unfortunate evidence from the fact that we don't have the funds this summer. We do have the funds. It's like I don't know. It's on a Friday night. And you're not really up for going out. You've got like 50 quid sitting there next to you. And your mate rings you up and you go, "Oh, you fancy going out?" He goes, "Well, no, I'm not sure, man. I can't afford it. I've just got a big week. I can't afford it." And you've got money sitting right there. You can afford it. You just pick and choose where you want to spend that money. And that's exactly what the Glazers are doing at the moment. Manchester United have got the money. The Glazers have got the money. But they are picking and choosing where to spend that money. And yeah, even if you have the opinion that James Garner is not good enough for Manchester United and won't have a long-term future at the club, there's no way that right now we should be talking about selling him, considering we have no goddamn midfield. Ant was down here saying, look, did Arnold totally play us with that pub interview, or was he lied to by the Glazers? I would be very surprised. I mean, Arnold is the Woodward replacement. So I'd be very surprised if he's being lied to by the Glazers. And if he is being lied to by the Glazers, I mean, we're all screwed, aren't we? But speaking about the Glazers, there's something I want to speak about on the channel now, which I think is extremely important. You all know everything that's happened over the last, week or so with the Michael Knighton situation. After the video emerged of him on United Religion saying that he was ready to launch a consortium bid for Manchester United, a bid that had all the backers, a bid that had the money to take the club, to buy the club away from the Glazers, and everybody was buzzing about it. Everybody was buzzing. Now, I did a video last week, a live video where we spoke about it in one of these streams in the morning. And since then, there's not really been a movement on it. So I sent this out on Twitter yesterday because I've previously I spoke to Michael Knighton about 6 months ago or so, if not a little bit longer, actually, via emails and via Twitter too. I said, look, I'd like to get you on the channel for a conversation and a chat. So I've sent this out yesterday. And I said this. I said, look, I would like to publicly invite Michael Knighton onto the channel today. He's not replied yet, for an interview. The idea of a consortium removing the Glazers is great, but without facts, figures, and information about it, and those behind it, I cannot offer public support for it and ask fans to back it. And I said this down below. I said, as fans, we need to know this. Who's behind the consortium? If there are already enough billionaires behind it and enough money to finance a bid, why do you need Jim Ratcliffe involved? And if the money is there, what are the next steps and when are they happening? At this moment in time, I've had no response from Michael Knighton. Maybe he'll respond today. Maybe he's been busy. But I have to admit, I'm sure you saw the weird fucking scrap that he had with Stephen Housen on Twitter. It's not really how you act if you're trying to lead a consortium. I don't like it. I'll be honest. I've got major doubts about it. I've got major doubts, right? And I'm more than happy for Michael to come on here on the channel and to prove me completely wrong. But he has to do that. I won't read an interview on the United stand and say that's just no. I want to ask him questions directly and to hear directly from him. I don't want to read someone else's interview, which is the interview was a pussyfooting around the subject interview. It didn't ask the questions that needed to be asked in any way, shape, or form, right? But there's no doubt that the energy against the Glazers is growing and growing and growing. I thought it was as big as it possibly could have been after the Super League, and we got Liverpool cancelled. It's only growing in size. And yeah, Michael Knighton going public. It may have coincided with a little bit of a market recovery, but Manchester United's share price in the last week or so has gone up, I think about 10-12%. It's a bit weird. I'll be honest, it's a bit weird. And that comment sort of caught me out. Huh? What? Caught him what? Really weird. Speaking about the Glazers, I've asked this before. I want to ask this one more time. I sent this out yesterday. I'm now at the position where I'm just extremely busy. With everything that's going on at Manchester United and me trying to cover it as accurately as I possibly can, I don't have the time to make these sorts of videos anymore. Not at the moment. You'll know full well that I did this video. That was after the second protest that happened. And I want to do another call out here this morning saying, look, if you're like an experienced filmmaker, experienced editor, and you want to work with me in creating these sorts of videos, which I think can really be used as power for the movement against the Glazers, they can be shared around and they can spread the right messages with the right tone, then please get in touch with me. I'm going to be paying for your time. I don't want to just take the piss, but I don't have the time to be able to make stuff like this anymore, and we need more of it. So yeah, this is another shout out, and I'm going to keep doing this regularly. If you, as I said, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, but if you don't have like experience doing it in this, I'm not looking for entry level. I'm not looking for beginners. I'm looking for people who can really come and make some elevated top level stuff. So if that's you, then please slide into my DMs. But well, you're going to get blocked on YouTube. Actually, I'm not going to block you. There's a lot of trolls down here in the comments, and the infighting's begun, right, at Manchester United. I can't say I'm too surprised, but it is what it is. It's been an absolutely abysmal start to the season, and I hope that in the next 16 days we get a couple of the signings over the line, and we can make a bit of a difference. But there's so many problems. There's so many different areas of focus. It's not just about. I don't know what it is anymore. I really, really don't know what it is anymore. There's no. You can't put your finger on one problem and say that's all that needs to be sorted. It's very, very strange. There's a super chat from Nick saying, "Yeah, we're nearly at 300k subs." I can't exactly celebrate it. I'll be completely honest, but thank you very much, Nick. Let's find out what's going on. Look, thank you all for joining in. That was an exhausting show. There's a lot of still. I'm set on Ronaldo now. I don't want to hear any shit. I don't want to hear any excuses. I just want him out of the football club. It's not scapegoating. But that's the end of it. I'm gonna stop doing that because I'm gonna get caught into a conversation again. I think I might do a video on Ronaldo for lunchtime today. I've also got a big Glazers video planned, which I think is extremely important to do. But look, thank you very much for joining in. I'll be here tomorrow at 9:30, as I always am. I'll be here later today at lunchtime with a video. Make sure you drop a like on this one. Being a United fan, eh? It's not good at the moment. It's not good.